What's going on with y'all boys, man? Welcome back to another episode of Rain Call Everything Sports Podcast. Today we're going to do a little instant reaction to the Cowboys versus Chargers game. So what are your thoughts on this game, Ryan?
Really good game. Honestly, I like the Cowboys more than the score showed. Cowboys really came up in all stages of the ball, except for maybe special teams, but a couple of really unlucky draws right there. But mainly, big thing for me is Dak Prescott. He's just so inconsistent, but when he's on that good side of the inconsistency, man, he looks good. Cowboys are now 4-0 when he doesn't throw a pick and 0-2 when he does throw a pick. So, I mean, it's just – when he keeps the ball, goes 21 of 30, 272 for a passing and a rushing touchdown. I mean, you can't ask for much more from him. I mean, when he's at his top, he's very good. When he's at his bottom, he's very bad. So main thing for me is Dak Prescott showed up today. This Cowboys team is showing me a lot. They've been like this for the last 2 or 3 years that they can't handle prosperity well, but they can sure handle adversity. They always bounce back after losses. Cardinals lost, they bounced back and blew out the next week. And then now last week they lost to 49ers, come out and beat a good Chargers team. So, I mean, Cowboys handle their losses well. They bounce back the next week off losses. I don't like them too much when they're on their high because they always have to falter, just like last year losing to the Broncos, this year losing to the Cardinals. So they don't handle prosperity too well. Our defense, honestly, I wasn't as impressed with them as I've been. They came up in big moments, but as a whole, didn't have the turnovers that we like to see, didn't have the sacks we like to see. Micah Parsons and that secondary was quiet towards the end, let some big plays get through. Honestly, Justin Herbert could have made this game more interesting than it was. Justin Herbert really was not his usual self. I don't know if it was his hand or what, but 22 of 37, 227 yards, threw a pick at the end of the game to end the game. Just, I don't know if it had to do with that hand that was mentally like, he was just worried about the hand or what it was, but just was not his normal self today. But overall, really good win from the Cowboys. Obviously a better team.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest takeaway is what you said at the beginning with Dak. I mean, that's why it's so frustrating being a Cowboys fan. You see the game he had last week, and then you see this game he had. And I think like a really big thing too is also him just using his legs. The first like about 2 years that he played earlier in the NFL, he was very dynamic with his legs, and I think just him with that RPO pulling that ball, that is going to do a lot of things to other teams now because that'll open up Pollard, because there's now a threat of him keeping that. So from here on out, I mean, teams are going to have to really play it true when they do the RPO. So that's going to open up a lot. And I mean, CD Lamb is also shown he's the number one receiver. The defense also, like you said, I mean, 17 points, it could have been a lot more than that because Herbert missed Allen on 2 big balls, one in the first half and one in the third quarter that really could have opened the game up. But I mean, like you said, Dak Prescott, he has the ability to be a top 10 quarterback. He really does. But because he's so inconsistent, I mean, I think really Dak is how the Cowboys are as a team, the highs and the lows. One week he plays amazing, the next week, he lays an egg. But I do like the Cowboys, and I think this game, because in this game they won a different way. They trailed at time. Dak made big time throws in big time situations. Yes, I know he did miss Pollard late in that game. He missed maybe 1 or 2 of the throws early in the game, but Dak, he didn't turn the ball over. He made the big plays with his legs and with his arms. So I really like how he played, and I mean, if he can just do like that every week, because he wasn't spectacular. He didn't throw for 350 yards and 5 touchdowns and make these crazy throws, but he made the throws when he needed to, and he got the job done.
Yeah, he didn't have that big play that I like to see from stud quarterbacks. Like he missed 2 seam routes. He missed Pollard at the end. But overall, I mean, he was hitting the intermediate to short range throws that he should have been, that we needed him to. He wasn't underthrowing receivers. He wasn't throwing behind receivers. And most thing of all, he wasn't throwing to the other team. So big thing for me is that Dak Prescott was more efficient than we've seen, and Dak Prescott held him to the ball for us. And that's all we need to let our defense be able to do a job.
Yeah, I mean, and also we got to talk about Mike McCarthy. His clock management is just terrible. I mean, at the end of the half, you have 8 seconds left, and there's a clip that I saw right before the podcast when they completed the ball. I don't know who it was, too, but it was a short game, and the official was calling timeout for him. I guess just expecting to. He said, "Why did you stop the clock? Why did you stop the clock, Mike McCarthy? We have 8 seconds left. We have a timeout. That's it. That's a shot. Listen, not even a shot to the end zone. You can make it an easier field goal. You can take a shot. You can do so many things, but." I mean, he's going to be a problem. I mean, and that's been his been one of our biggest worries aside for Dak Prescott. Our head coach is not. I mean, he's not a good coach. He really isn't.
Yeah, and I don't know what his thought process was there. I think honestly, what's more scary to me than him doing that is the reason that I think he did it is because he didn't trust Dak Prescott
Yeah,
not to throw an interception.
yeah,
I think
that
he
is
would
true.
rather take the guaranteed 3 points and give Dak a shot to turn the ball over. I think that's genuinely the reason, and that's
Yeah,
I don't like it because you got to put the ball in your hands of your quarterback to try and give you some points. Because at the end of the game, those 4 points could have been big if the Chargers could have gotten field goal range, tied it up. Who knows what would happen in
right.
overtime? But if they had that touchdown, we would have forced the Chargers to score. It's a whole lot harder than getting into field goal range and kicking one. So it's out. But I mean, even with McCarthy with the penalties early on, them they were killing us because we
Yeah,
looked like a poorly coached team. I mean, you have not even 12 men on the field. Like you got a guy running off, trying to get
I
off the
know.
field. You have 12 men in the formation. You have 12 guys lined up in a stance ready to go. How is that? Like you're an
Yeah,
NFL team and you can't get the right number of guys on the team. I'm on the field. It's just overall, he's just a bad head coach. He's been killing us on clock management all year. I mean, he killed us
yeah.
last year in clock
Last
management
year,
in the playoffs. So I mean,
yeah. I mean, like you said, that's been an issue, and also with that, I don't really know if our line was the problem, but it seemed like he was running around a lot. But also, I feel like his pocket awareness, because now he did play a good game. This was, I mean, besides for probably the Patriots or Jets game, this is probably his best game, just because they were playing a real opponent also. But it seemed like he was holding on to the ball too long too. So like I said, I don't know if that was our line being bad maybe or something, but Dak's pocket awareness is kind of a concern as well, especially how we rotate our linemen. They're always in and out. It seems like so.
well, Deck's always been kind of iffy in the pocket, especially after his ankle. He doesn't really like getting hit too much.
Yeah,
So he kind of bails out of the pocket a little bit early. He doesn't like standing in and taking hits, so he likes to try and get outside. He's not the most mobile quarterback at all, so if he doesn't get outside early, that pocket does collapse. He's probably gonna get caught. And even on that run, he looks stiff, and I just keep crediting that to the ankle. I mean, he had a hole that
yeah,
you could have ran Mark Henry through. So I mean, it was easy for him to get through, but he still looks stiff even going through it. So I don't know. I like that Dak did gain a little confidence early on with those two runs. He had that run there, the other long run on the next drive. So I like that he gained that confidence, but I don't know that it's a consistent thing that we can rely on with him running because he's certainly not a Lamar or Jalen Hurts or anybody like that. So